In a small town surrounded by rolling hills and thick forests, a young girl named Nia wandered the streets with her dog, Rusty. Nia was 12 years old, small but strong, with bright eyes that seemed to notice everything around her. Rusty, a golden-brown mixed breed, had been with her for as long as she could remember. They were inseparable, sharing every meal, every adventure, and every moment of danger. Nia's life had not been easy. She had no home, and she slept in abandoned buildings or under the arches of old bridges. Despite her circumstances, she had learned to survive by using her mind and her courage. She had a routine that she followed carefully. Every morning she would search for food at the market, careful not to be noticed by the shopkeepers. Then she would walk through the quiet streets and alleys, looking for safe places to rest during the day. Rusty was more than a companion. He was Nia's protector. His sharp instincts had saved her more than once. He could sense danger before it appeared, barking or growling to warn her. Nia trusted him completely. Together, they were a team, small but fierce, capable of handling any challenge that came their way. One early morning, as the sun rose over the hills, Nia and Rusty wandered near the edge of the forest. Mist hung in the air, and the trees cast long shadows across the ground. Nia liked this time of day. The forest was quiet except for the rustle of leaves and the distant songs of birds. She felt calm here, away from the crowded streets. As they moved deeper into the forest, Nia noticed something unusual. Strange lights flickered between the trees, and she could hear soft whispers and hurried footsteps that did not belong to the usual hikers or wanderers. Her heart began to race. She had learned to trust her instincts, and they were telling her that something was wrong. Rusty growled softly, his ears perked, his body tense. Nia placed her hand on his head. "Easy, Rusty, let's see what's happening," she whispered. She did not know why, but she felt she had to follow the sounds. Carefully, she stepped over roots and stones, keeping to the shadows. Rusty moved ahead, sniffing the air and guiding her through the trees. Soon they came across a small clearing. 2 people were there, struggling near a fallen tree. They were dressed in dark uniforms and appeared injured. One of them was sitting on the ground, holding their arm, while the other tried to help but kept looking around nervously. Nia did not recognize them. She had never seen people like this in her town. Her first thought was to run and get help, but then she saw the fear in their eyes. She knew they needed someone immediately. Nia had a natural courage that often surprised adults. Without thinking twice, she stepped into the clearing. "Are you okay?" she called softly. The 2 strangers turned toward her. Their faces were pale, and they looked relieved to see her. The taller one managed a weak smile. We need help," said the other, her voice shaky. Nia nodded. "Follow me." "I know a safe place nearby," she said. She led them through the forest, Rusty running ahead to check the path. They reached an old abandoned cabin at the edge of the woods. It was small, with broken windows and a door that hung on its hinges. Inside, it smelled of dust and old wood, but it was dry and safe. Nia helped the 2 strangers inside. She handed them water she had saved from a small stream and found some bread she had hidden in her bag. She cleaned their cuts with cloth she carried for emergencies. Rusty sat quietly beside them, occasionally nudging Nia with his nose as if to remind her to stay alert. "Thank you," one of them said softly. We don't know how to repay you." Nia shook her head. "You don't need to repay me. Just make sure you're okay," she said. She did not understand their uniforms or why they were in the forest, but she felt proud that she could help. She was used to helping others, even strangers, because she believed everyone deserved kindness. The 2 strangers rested quietly. Nia sat nearby, keeping watch. She noticed their eyes darting to the windows and the door, as if they expected danger at any moment. Her curiosity grew, but she did not ask questions. She had learned that some things were better left unknown. Rusty growled suddenly. Nia looked up and saw shadows moving outside the cabin. Her heart pounded. She placed a hand on Rusty's head. "Calm down. Let's see what's happening," she whispered. The shadows disappeared as quickly as they had appeared. Nia realized that the forest was full of hidden dangers, and her instincts had saved them once again. As the sun climbed higher, Nia brought more water and food. The 2 strangers began to recover, and they looked at her with respect. They were silent about who they were or why they were in trouble. Nia did not press them. She simply focused on keeping them safe and comfortable. By afternoon, the strangers were strong enough to move. Nia guided them back toward the edge of the forest. Rusty ran ahead, checking every turn and path. Nia felt a strange connection with these people. She did not understand why, but she felt that helping them was important. Before they left, one of the strangers knelt down. "You are very brave," she said. "We owe you our lives." Nia smiled. "I'm just trying to help," she said. She patted Rusty on the head. "We can't let anyone get hurt, right?" Rusty wagged his tail as if he understood every word. The two strangers disappeared into the forest, leaving Nia and Rusty alone. Nia watched them go, feeling a mix of pride and curiosity. She did not know who they were, but she felt certain that she had done something important. Rusty nudged her hand and she laughed softly. "Come on, Rusty, let's head home," she said. As they walked back through the forest, Nia thought about her life. She was used to surviving alone, but today had reminded her that courage and kindness could make a difference. Even a small girl with her dog could change the course of events, even if she did not know it. When they reached the streets of the town, Nia felt a sense of peace. The sun was high now and the town buzzed with life. People walked by, busy with their own worries, unaware of the events that had just unfolded in the forest. Nia and Rusty slipped between the streets, returning to their usual routines, ready for whatever challenges the day might bring. As evening approached, Nia found a quiet corner in an old building where she could rest. Rusty curled up beside her, his warmth comforting and familiar. Nia closed her eyes, thinking of the two strangers she had helped. She did not know who they were or why they had been in danger, but she knew one thing for certain. She had done the right thing, and deep down Nia felt a spark of hope. Perhaps one day things would be different. Perhaps one day she would not have to wander the streets. But for now she had Rusty, her courage, and her belief that even the smallest actions could matter. That belief would carry her through many more adventures, challenges, and dangers. The next morning Nia woke to the soft sounds of the town stirring. Rusty stretched and yawned beside her, his golden fur glowing in the sunlight that slipped through the broken windows of the abandoned building. Nia rubbed her eyes and smiled at him. "Ready for another day, Rusty?" she asked. He wagged his tail as if he understood every word. Nia spent the early hours searching for food. She knew the routines of the town well. The bakery at the corner of Maple Street opened at 8, and if she arrived early enough, she could find leftover bread that no one had claimed. She always made sure to leave the place as she found it. Nia had her own rules, and one of them was to never take more than she needed. Rusty walked beside her, alert as always, sniffing the air for anything unusual. Meanwhile, the two strangers Nia had helped were far from ordinary. Their names were Mara and Jules, though Nia did not know them. Mara and Jules were government agents sent to the town on a mission of great importance. A dangerous device had been hidden somewhere nearby. If activated, it could cause chaos throughout the entire town. Their task was to find it and secure it before anyone else could. The agents had been moving carefully through the forest when they were trapped by a hidden mechanism designed to stop intruders. They had injured themselves in the process and were lucky that Nia had arrived when she did. Without her quick thinking, they might have been caught, and the town could have faced disaster. Mara glanced at Jules while they rested in the cabin. "If she had not come, we might not have made it," she whispered. Jules nodded, eyes wide with gratitude and surprise. Back in town, Nia continued her usual rounds. She stopped near the river to wash her face and refill her water bottle. Rusty barked suddenly, ears perked. Nia looked toward the alley nearby and noticed shadows moving quickly between buildings. She frowned. Something felt different today. The town, which she knew so well, seemed unusually tense. Nia followed Rusty's lead toward the alley. She saw two men in dark clothes moving quietly. They carried small devices that beeped occasionally, and their movements were deliberate. Nia crouched behind a stack of crates, her heart pounding. She had learned to hide and stay quiet, and she did it now without thinking. Rusty sat close, ready to protect her. From her hiding spot, Nia watched as the men approached the power station at the edge of town. She did not understand everything she saw, but she knew it was dangerous. She decided to act. Rusty barked and ran toward the men, who were startled. The sudden noise caused them to drop one of the devices. Nia seized the opportunity to grab it. She ran back toward the streets, keeping low and moving quickly. The two agents, Mara and Jules, had been following Nia without her knowing. They had realized that she had a unique gift. She knew every corner of the town, every alley, and every hidden path. Nia's actions had given them a critical advantage. The agents moved carefully, staying in the shadows, following the girl and her dog as they led them closer to the source of danger. As they moved through the streets, Mara whispered to Jules. "She doesn't even know the scale of what she has done," Mara said. "She saved more than just us. She is helping protect the entire town." Jules nodded, impressed by the girl's bravery and intuition. They had worked with many locals during missions, but none had shown such courage and resourcefulness. Nia led them to a narrow alley behind an old warehouse. She stopped and looked at the agents. "Is this okay?" she asked. "We can hide here for a while if you need to rest." Mara and Jules nodded, grateful for the suggestion. They had been walking for hours avoiding detection, and Nia had guided them to a safe place without realizing it. While the agents rested, Nia examined the device she had taken from the men. It was small but complicated, with wires and lights that blinked rapidly. She had never seen anything like it. Rusty sniffed it carefully, then looked at Nia as if telling her to be careful. Nia carefully put it down on the ground and stepped back. She did not understand it, but she sensed it was dangerous. Mara knelt beside her quietly. "You did very well," she said softly. "That was very brave. You may have stopped something very serious." Nia looked at her, eyes wide. "Really?" she asked. Mara nodded. Yes, you helped us, and you helped the town without even knowing it." Nia felt a mixture of pride and confusion. She had only wanted to help, but now she realized her actions had a larger impact than she could imagine. The day grew hotter, and the streets became busier. Nia knew it was time to return to her usual hiding places. She could not stay in one spot too long. The agents decided to follow her at a distance, watching her interactions with the town, and using her knowledge to track the movements of the men who were trying to activate the device. As Nia walked, she noticed small details others might miss. She saw a door slightly open in a building where nobody lived. Rusty barked at a window where a shadow quickly disappeared. Nia's instincts were sharp, and she began to suspect that something was not right in the town. She had never been wrong about danger before, Mara whispered to Jules. "She can sense it too." "Look at how alert she is," Jules nodded. "We need to keep her close. She might lead us right to the source." The agents moved carefully, making sure Nia did not notice their presence. They trusted her instincts and understood that sometimes the smallest actions could reveal the biggest clues. By late afternoon, Nia returned to a quiet street near the edge of the forest. She had found some bread, fruit, and water for the evening. Rusty lay down beside her, panting lightly. Nia smiled at him. "Good job today, Rusty. You kept us safe again." Rusty wagged his tail, happy to hear her praise. The agents approached her quietly. Mara knelt down and said softly, "Nia, would you help us one more time? We need someone who knows the town as well as you do." Nia looked at her, curious. "Who are you really?" she asked. Mara hesitated. "We are friends, and we need your help to protect the town." Nia did not fully understand, but she trusted the kindness in Mara's eyes. She nodded. "Okay, I will help." As the sun set behind the hills, Nia, Rusty, Mara, and Jules began to move through the town together. Nia led the way, alert to every sound and movement. Rusty stayed close, sensing danger before anyone else. The agents followed, careful to remain unseen, relying on Nia's instincts to guide them. Little did Nia know, the actions she had taken and the choices she was making would shape the safety of the entire town. Her courage, her loyalty to Rusty, and her quick thinking were becoming the key to stopping a danger that could have affected every person in her home. She had no idea how important she had already become, but her bravery was about to be tested in ways she had never imagined. The morning air was cool and fresh, carrying the scent of wet grass and earth from the forest at the edge of town. Nia woke early, as she always did, with Rusty curled at her side. Today felt different. She could sense it in the quiet streets and in the way Rusty's ears twitched at every sound. She rubbed her eyes, yawned, and whispered, "Something is happening, Rusty. We need to be ready." Rusty barked softly in agreement, as if he understood exactly what she meant. After grabbing a small piece of bread she had saved, Nia slipped into the streets with Rusty leading the way. The town was slowly waking up, and people went about their usual business, unaware of the danger that had quietly crept into their midst. Nia had been helping the two strangers, Mara and Jules, for a day now, guiding them safely through the town and providing small but important pieces of information. She did not know the full story, but her instincts were sharp. As she moved through the alleys, Nia noticed something unusual. Near the edge of a deserted lot, she saw a group of men in dark clothing acting nervously. They were carrying small devices and whispering to each other. Nia crouched behind a pile of crates, Rusty at her heels, and observed carefully. Her heart pounded. She did not know what they were planning, but she knew it was dangerous. She needed to warn the agents immediately. Nia ran to a narrow alley where Mara and Jules were waiting. The agents had instructed her to come to this spot whenever she noticed anything unusual. She caught her breath and said quickly, "There are men near the lot with some kind of devices. They look like they are trying to hide something." Mara nodded and gestured for her to stay back. "Good work, Nia. You are very observant," she said softly. "Now stay safe. Rusty can help alert us if anything happens." The agents moved carefully toward the lot, using the cover of buildings and shadows. Nia stayed hidden but could see everything. Rusty's low growl echoed through the alley, signaling the approach of danger. One of the men at the lot looked around nervously. Nia could see their fear. They were planning something serious, but Mara and Jules were too skilled to be caught off guard. Suddenly, one of the men dropped a small device that beeped loudly. Rusty barked, and the sound startled the group. Mara and Jules used the distraction to move closer, securing the device before it could be activated. Nia's heart raced as she watched. She did not fully understand what was happening, but she knew it was important. Her actions and quick thinking had helped prevent the situation from getting worse. After the device was secured, Mara and Jules returned to the alley. Mara whispered to Nia, "You did very well. Your observations saved time and possibly prevented harm to many people." Nia smiled, proud but still uncertain. She had only been trying to help. "I just saw something and told you," she said. "It seemed important," Mara nodded. "Sometimes noticing the small things is the most important skill," she said. The day continued, but the danger was far from over. Nia and Rusty continued their rounds, keeping an eye on the town. They moved quietly through streets, alleys, and hidden paths, alert to any sign of trouble. Nia's knowledge of the town was impressive. She knew every corner, every shortcut, and every place where someone could hide. Rusty's sharp senses complemented hers perfectly. Together, they became a team capable of noticing what others might miss. By mid-afternoon, Nia noticed another suspicious movement near the power plant. Two men were trying to enter a restricted area. Rusty growled, and Nia moved quickly to follow them. She signaled to Mara and Jules, who were watching from a hidden location, and they moved in silently. Nia's instincts had guided them directly to the source of the threat. The agents worked quickly. Mara disabled the alarm system while Jules secured the entrance. The men were caught before they could enter the building. Nia watched as the agents moved with skill and precision. She did not fully understand their methods, but she felt proud that her observations had led to their success. Rusty barked once, as if celebrating their achievement. Afterward, Mara knelt beside Nia. "You are very brave," she said. "You have no idea how much your actions are helping. You are protecting not just us, but the entire town." Nia's eyes widened. "Really?" she asked softly. Mara nodded. "Yes. If you had not noticed the men near the lot or the power plant, things could have been very dangerous." Nia felt a surge of pride. She had never thought her small actions could matter so much. Despite the growing tension, Nia remained calm. She knew that panic could make situations worse. She focused on observing, listening, and keeping Rusty safe. Rusty stayed close to her side, alert and ready to act at a moment's notice. Their partnership was strong, built on trust and loyalty. Nia realized that courage was not about being fearless. It was about staying focused and acting wisely when danger appeared. As the sun began to set, shadows grew long across the town. Nia led the agents to a safe location near the forest. They needed to rest, plan, and prepare for the next steps. Mara and Jules were impressed by Nia's guidance. She had not only observed the threat, but had helped them reach critical locations without being seen. Her intuition and bravery had become essential to their mission. While they rested, Nia noticed small details in the environment that others might miss. A broken fence gate, a recently moved crate, a faint footprint in the dust. Each clue told a story. Nia shared her observations with the agents, who listened carefully. Mara whispered, "She sees what others cannot. This is why she is so valuable." Jules added, "Her instincts are incredible. We could not do this without her." Nia felt a sense of pride and purpose. She had never felt needed like this before. Night fell over the town and the streets grew quiet. Nia and Rusty returned to their usual hiding place in an old building. She reflected on the day's events. She had helped prevent danger multiple times without fully understanding the risks. She had acted on instinct, courage, and a desire to help others. Rusty lay beside her, his warmth comforting and steady. Nia realized that even small actions could have large consequences. Suddenly, Rusty barked and ran to the window. Nia looked and saw a shadow moving in the distance. She felt a familiar rush of alertness. Danger was still near, but she did not panic. She knew that together with Mara, Jules, and Rusty, they could face whatever came next. She whispered, "We are ready, Rusty. We will protect them." Rusty wagged his tail, agreeing without hesitation. The events of the day had taught Nia something important. Courage was not about fighting alone. It was about using knowledge, observation, and loyalty to protect those who could not protect themselves. Her actions, combined with the skills of Mara and Jules, were keeping the town safe. She did not fully understand the mission, but she trusted that her help mattered. As Nia lay down to rest, she thought about the people in her town who went about their lives unaware of the danger that had been quietly approaching. She felt a strong sense of responsibility. She might be young and she might live on the streets, but her courage, her mind, and her partnership with Rusty had already made a difference. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, and Nia knew she would face them with the same determination and bravery she had shown today. For the first time, Nia felt that her actions could truly matter. She was not just a girl wandering the streets with her dog. She was a protector, a guide, and a force for good in a town that needed her more than she could have imagined. Rusty curled up beside her and Nia closed her eyes. Together, they were ready for whatever challenges awaited them. The night was quiet, but the forest near the edge of the town was alive with shadows and whispers. Nia and Rusty moved carefully, guiding Mara and Jules through hidden paths that twisted between the trees and under low-hanging branches. Every step was calculated. Nia had walked these paths many times before, but tonight they felt different. Danger seemed closer, more present. Rusty's ears twitched constantly, and he growled softly whenever something unusual caught his attention. Mara whispered to Jules, "She knows these paths better than anyone. If we follow her, we can reach the device without being seen." Jules nodded, keeping his eyes on Nia and Rusty as they led the way. Nia had no idea that the two agents were not ordinary travelers. She was simply focused on keeping everyone safe, using her knowledge of the town and the forest to avoid detection. As they neared the abandoned factory at the edge of town, Nia stopped suddenly. She crouched low behind a fallen tree and pointed ahead. Rusty barked softly. Nia whispered, "There are guards near the entrance. 2 men and 1 with a device. They are watching the doors." Mara and Jules exchanged a glance. The agents had been expecting some resistance, but they were impressed by Nia's awareness. Mara motioned for the girl to stay behind while she and Jules approached the guards. Nia shook her head. "I know a way around them." "I can help," she said quietly. Mara hesitated, but then nodded. "Very well, but be careful. Stay close to Rusty." Nia gave a small smile and led the way along a narrow path that ran behind a stack of crates and a rusted fence. Rusty moved silently beside her, alert to every sound. The guards were focused on the main entrance, unaware of the small figures approaching from behind. Nia signaled to Mara and Jules, who took advantage of the distraction. Rusty barked once, drawing the attention of the guards for a moment. Nia quickly nudged a pile of crates over, creating a loud clatter. The guards turned toward the noise, giving the agents the opportunity to move in closer. Inside the factory, the air was thick with dust and the faint smell of oil. Dim lights flickered from overhead bulbs, casting shadows that danced across the walls. Nia, Rusty, Mara, and Jules moved carefully, keeping to the shadows. They could hear the low hum of machinery and the quiet voices of the men preparing the device. Nia's heart pounded. She had never been inside such a large, empty building at night. It felt like stepping into another world. Suddenly, Rusty growled, his hair standing on end. Nia froze, following his gaze. A man carrying the device was walking toward a control panel. Nia's eyes widened. She realized that this was the moment they had been preparing for. She whispered to Mara and Jules, "He is going to turn it on. We have to stop him now." Mara nodded, and Jules moved silently toward the man. Nia took a deep breath. She had to act quickly. She noticed a stack of crates nearby. Using her small size and agility, she pushed the crates, causing them to topple over. The loud crash startled the man and caused him to stumble. Rusty barked and ran in front of him, forcing him to step back. The device wobbled dangerously in his hands. Mara and Jules used the chaos to their advantage. They moved swiftly, grabbing the device and securing it. The man tried to fight back, but Jules was quick and strong. Mara managed to hold him still until he stopped struggling. Nia watched in awe as the agents worked together, using skill and precision to neutralize the threat. Rusty barked again as if celebrating their success. Once the danger was controlled, Nia approached the device cautiously. It was small but complicated, with wires and blinking lights. She remembered the device she had found earlier and realized how close the town had come to disaster. Mara knelt beside her and said softly, "You helped us get here. Without you, we might not have reached it in time." Nia felt a mixture of pride and disbelief. She had only wanted to help, but now she understood how important her actions had been. Jules secured the device in a protective case. "This could have caused serious harm," he said. "Thanks to you, Nia, and Rusty, the town is safe." Nia smiled, patting Rusty on the head. "We just did what we could," she said. Rusty wagged his tail, happy and proud. The factory was now quiet except for the hum of the lights and the distant sounds of the town. Nia, Mara, Jules, and Rusty moved toward the exit. Outside, the night air was cool and refreshing. Nia looked at the stars above, feeling a sense of peace she had rarely experienced. She realized that courage, quick thinking, and loyalty could make a difference no matter how small someone might seem. Mara turned to Nia and said, "You may not realize it, but your actions today saved many lives. You and Rusty are heroes." Nia shook her head. "I was just helping," she said softly. Mara smiled. "Helping can be the greatest courage of all." Nia felt proud but humble. She had not sought recognition. She had only followed her instincts and done what she thought was right. As they walked back toward the town, Nia reflected on the events of the night. She had faced danger directly, guided the agents through hidden paths, and helped stop a serious threat. She realized that bravery was not about fighting alone, but about using knowledge, skill, and loyalty to protect others. Rusty walked beside her, his head held high as if he understood the importance of what they had done. Back in the town, Nia led Mara and Jules to a quiet corner where they could rest and plan for the next day. Although the immediate threat had been neutralized, they knew they had to remain vigilant. Nia's instincts had guided them through the most dangerous parts of the mission, and her knowledge of the town continued to be invaluable. Nia found a small space where she could sit comfortably, and Rusty curled up beside her. Mara and Jules placed the secured device on a nearby table, ensuring it was safe. The agents looked at Nia with respect and gratitude. "You have done more than you know," Mara said. "You and Rusty have saved the entire town without realizing it." Nia's eyes widened. She had never imagined that her actions could have such a significant impact. Rusty nudged her hand and Nia smiled. "We make a good team," she said. Mara nodded. "Yes, you do. Courage, intelligence, and loyalty. Those are powerful tools and you have them all." Nia felt a warm sense of pride. She had always relied on her instincts and her dog, but now she understood that those qualities could change the course of events in ways she had never imagined. As the night deepened, the town remained peaceful. The danger had passed and the streets were quiet. Nia and Rusty sat in their small corner, tired but satisfied. She realized that even a small girl living on the streets could make a difference when she acted with courage and care. Mara and Jules had relied on her, and together they had protected countless lives. Before Nia drifted off to sleep, she looked at Rusty. "We did it, Rusty. We saved them," she whispered. Rusty barked softly as if agreeing. Nia felt a sense of purpose she had never felt before. She was not just surviving. She was making a real difference, and she knew that no matter what challenges came next, she would face them with the same courage, wisdom, and loyalty she had shown tonight. The night held a calm promise of safety and hope. Nia had discovered the strength that lay within her, and Rusty had proven once again that loyalty and courage were more powerful than any danger. Together they had faced darkness and emerged victorious, and although Nia did not yet understand the full scope of what they had achieved, she knew that she had done something remarkable. The next morning, sunlight streamed through the gaps in the old building where Nia and Rusty slept. Birds sang from the trees nearby, and the town slowly came alive with the sounds of people beginning their day. Nia stretched and yawned, feeling a mixture of tiredness and pride. She looked at Rusty, who wagged his tail happily. "We did well, Rusty," she whispered. "We really helped today." Mara and Jules had stayed close, though Nia did not fully understand why. The agents had spent the night securing the device and reporting the events to their headquarters. They knew the danger had been neutralized and the town was safe thanks to Nia and Rusty. For Mara and Jules, the girl and her dog had been the most important part of the mission. Without their guidance and courage, the outcome could have been very different. Nia spent the morning helping herself to a small breakfast she had saved. Rusty licked her hand, reminding her that he was always ready for the next step. Nia's life had never been easy, but the events of the last 2 days had shown her something she had never felt before: a sense of purpose. She realized that even a girl living on the streets could make a difference in the world. Later that morning, Mara and Jules approached Nia quietly. Mara knelt beside her and said, "Nia, you need to know the truth. You and Rusty have done something very important. You saved not just us, but the whole town." Nia blinked in surprise. "The whole town?" she asked softly. Mara nodded. "Yes, the device you helped us stop could have caused a lot of harm. Your courage and quick thinking made all the difference." Nia felt a mixture of pride and disbelief. She had only been trying to help people in trouble. She had not thought that her small actions could have such a huge impact. Rusty barked once, as if confirming what Mara had said. Nia smiled and hugged him tightly. "We did it, Rusty, we really did it." The agents wanted to make sure Nia was safe. They knew that a girl living on the streets faced many dangers every day. Mara said, "Nia, you don't have to stay out here anymore. We can help you find a safe place to live." Nia hesitated. She had spent her whole life fending for herself, but the thought of having a safe home with food, warmth, and protection made her heart feel lighter than it had in years. She nodded slowly. "Okay," she said softly. Mara and Jules took Nia and Rusty to a small, comfortable home on the edge of the town. It was not large, but it was safe and warm. Nia explored the rooms, amazed at how different this place was from the abandoned buildings and alleys she had called home. Rusty ran happily through the house, sniffing every corner. Nia laughed, feeling a sense of joy she had never known before. The townspeople had learned about the danger that had threatened them. Many of them had no idea how close they had come to disaster. When they discovered that a young girl and her dog had played such an important role in saving them, they were amazed. Nia's courage and actions became a story that spread quietly throughout the town. People respected her bravery and kindness. Nia did not seek attention, but she could not hide the pride she felt. She had always believed in helping others, even when it was difficult. Now she saw the true value of her actions. Courage, kindness, and loyalty could change the world, even in ways she could not fully understand. Rusty stayed close to her side, his presence a constant reminder of their partnership. As the days passed, Nia settled into her new home. She still walked the streets and explored the town, but now she did so safely. Mara and Jules visited occasionally, checking on the town and ensuring that everything remained secure. They always took time to acknowledge Nia's role in the mission. Mara said, "You have a gift, Nia. Your instincts and bravery saved lives. Never forget that." Nia smiled, feeling proud and humble at the same time. Rusty became even more beloved in the town. People admired his loyalty and the way he had helped protect everyone. Children in the town wanted to play with him, and Nia allowed them, teaching them to be kind and gentle with animals. She realized that bravery was not only about facing danger, but also about helping others, being responsible, and using one's abilities for good. One afternoon, Nia sat in the small garden behind her new home, watching the sun dip behind the hills. Mara and Jules joined her, and they talked quietly about the mission and how important Nia had been. Nia listened with interest, learning more about the danger that had been prevented. She did not feel overwhelmed. Instead, she felt grateful for the opportunity to help. She realized that courage was a choice, and she had made that choice every day, even when she had been alone on the streets. The town slowly returned to normal. Shops reopened fully. Children played safely in the streets, and people went about their daily lives without fear. Nia walked among them, feeling proud that she had helped protect their safety. She knew that her small actions, guided by instinct and courage, had made a difference far greater than she had ever imagined. Rusty walked proudly beside her. always alert and ready to act if needed. One evening, as the sun set in a blaze of orange and pink, Mara and Jules invited Nia to a quiet celebration in a safe place in the town. It was not a large gathering, but it included people who had been affected by the danger and those who had been part of the rescue efforts. Nia sat quietly listening to people speak kindly of her actions. She felt a warmth in her heart she had never felt before. People respected her courage and kindness, and she realized that even small acts of bravery could inspire others. Mara leaned close and whispered, "You have changed this town, Nia. You and Rusty have shown everyone the power of courage, loyalty, and care." Nia looked at Rusty, who wagged his tail as if he understood every word. She smiled, feeling proud but humble. "I just wanted to help," she said softly. Mara shook her head. "Helping can change the world. You have proven that." From that day on, Nia had a safe home, friends who cared about her, and a town that respected her bravery. She still explored the streets and forests, still went on adventures with Rusty, but now she did so with the security of knowing she was valued and loved. She understood that courage was not about fighting alone, but about using one's gifts to protect and help others. Rusty remained her loyal companion. He had been with her through every danger and had helped her save the town. Nia realized that true bravery often came from teamwork, loyalty, and trust. Together they had faced challenges, overcome fear, and ensured the safety of everyone around them. As Nia lay down to sleep that night in her new home, Rusty curled up beside her. She thought about the events that had brought her here, the dangers they had faced, and the people they had saved. She smiled quietly, feeling a sense of pride and peace. Her life had changed, not because of luck, but because of her courage, quick thinking, and loyalty to Rusty and to the people she had helped. For the first time, Nia understood that even someone small, living a difficult life, could make a difference. She had saved not only 2 agents but the entire town, and although she remained humble, she knew that courage, kindness, and loyalty were powerful forces that could change the world. Rusty wagged his tail in his sleep, and Nia drifted off with a peaceful heart, ready for the adventures that awaited her in the days ahead. The town was safe. Nia had found a home, and the girl who had once wandered the streets with her dog had become a hero, quietly celebrated and deeply respected by everyone who knew her story.